I want to introduce Grinning Cat Productions. So please take it away.
Hello, my name is Luis Gonzalez, and I'm here presenting on behalf of Grinning Cat Productions. We are a micro-budget documentary production company. Together, we own all of the equipment and possess all of the technical knowledge necessary to make these kinds of small films sustainably. You may have noticed in the news recently that Hollywood is in a bit of a crisis. Nobody wants to pay anybody. The kind of things that used to seem profitable aren't really profitable anymore, and everybody's looking for an alternative of some sort. This is our alternative. Over the summer, a member of our team went to the city of Tbilisi in the country of the Republic of Georgia and shot a feature-length documentary about Russian expats fleeing the war who became involved in the punk scene in Tbilisi. I was hopeful that I would be able to play some footage for you guys. Oh, and it looks like I can. I was told that I couldn't, but now I can. So this is the kind of content that we're interested in making. It's incredibly low budget. We made this for $6,000, which is incredibly low for a kind of feature documentary. And we believe that this kind of content is interesting to people and is worth putting out there, and made at this kind of price point, we believe that it can be profitable, and most importantly, that it can be sustainable, and that we can continue making projects like this in the future. So I'll play this for you guys. You can't hear the sound, but that's unfortunate. Okay. Is there anything we can do about the sound? You can pretend that's the sound of the movie.
Narrate.
Okay. So yeah, these are Russian expats fleeing the draft in the Republic of Georgia. They're an eccentric group, and an essential part of our business model is that these communities don't really see themselves on screen very often, and by displaying them, we believe that there's a kind of built-in audience. And if we make these things for cheap enough, people like seeing themselves on screen, especially subcultures such as this. And most importantly, we like making movies. We're invested in it. We're in it for love of the game, more or less. And yeah, okay. If anybody has any questions, I can take those now, since there's no... Or that we need infrastructure for is getting distribution for these films. We have no problem producing them. We've done this for years now, together, the three of us. We know how to make movies, and we know how to make them for cheap. We're looking for infrastructure that will help us put them out into the world. That's the main thing that I think we can get from this program, and that's the main thing that hopefully we can get from some of you, helping put this out into the world. It was made for cheap. As long as we can get more money to make more of them, we'll keep making them. That's the ask.
Thank you.
Come to the stage so you can start pitching.
Show of hands if you know any immigrants in the US.
Nope.
Yes,
Nope.
that makes three of us. You, me, and Priya is supposed to come on screen now. While she comes up, Priya is an immigrant in the US and is exploring permanent residency options. The information required to actually navigate permanent residency is very complex, very time-consuming. Lawyers spend averagely about 4 months to prepare the application, and it's very expensive. They spend over $4,000 to get this across. And it sometimes leads to Priya feeling dejected, losing opportunities, and sadly deportation. Priya is not alone in this problem. I have been through this problem. And this is Priya. And over 7 million immigrants are currently exploring permanent residency in this, and they're going through this problem as we speak. This is why we created Guidely. So Guidely is a solution that takes the 4 months and does it in 4 weeks, and we do it for less than half the price. We use AI to provide personalized information on the tips, guides, resources you need to integrate into the US upon arrival, and at the point of permanent residency, we actually help you manage the entire process. We provide the first draft of the application, and we do this for way less than the price. We also do this at a 50% cheaper cost and a 50% optimization of time. This is how it works. The demand for our solution has been overwhelming. We have over 2,500 word-of-mouth organic signups. We're working with 8 customers currently that are serving as our proof of concept customers and are generating over $32,000. And we have partnership with Harvard University and Yale University. This is a $35 billion service addressable market and is growing annually by 3.5%. We're positioned to capture in 12 months 1,500 paying customers and generate $6 million in revenue. Our go-to-markets. Okay, go-to-market. We're strategically partnering with institutions like schools that have immigrant customers year in, year out, and we're partnering with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, that is the USCIS. Our team is one of one. I'm the co-founder and CEO. I'm a Harvard graduate, MBA graduate, class of 23, recently graduated. I have startup experience in a new market in Uganda. I'm an attorney with immigration experience, and I'm also an immigrant in the US. My co-founder is one of you. He's a Yale second-year SOM student. He's also a two-time founder. He's an attorney and also an immigrant. Our CTO is an amazing AI engineer with tons of experience. We also have amazing advisors. Together, we will create a home for you in the US and give you the peace of mind to flourish. Thank you. This is
Are you concerned with incurring any legal liability given that you're filling out these legal forms for your clients?
I don't have the mic. But in terms of legal liability, we're actually working with lawyers that help with the entire process. But we also have terms and conditions that specifically state that we are not lawyers and that we are just providing legal advisory services. So that's how we protect ourselves and our users understand this implication before they sign on. Any last questions? Oh wow, that was a crisp presentation. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I know that partnering is the route to market, but how seamless is this process? You reaching the actual student that needs your service,
Yes.
and them getting to see what linking into you through their mobile device.
Yes, the process has been very seamless. We actually started with immigration events, by which we bring lawyers to talk to immigrants, and that grew the waitlist to over 2,500. And we also have started exploring social media marketing to just have immigrants tell their stories. We're also then partnering with university institutions. The international offices in particular have been very helpful in making immigrant students aware of what we do, and that has also helped in conversion.
So they would tell them what your website is, and then they have to go in and find you? Is that
Yes, so they help bring credibility and also then help create awareness of what we're doing. But we're also partnering with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services that is responsible for every immigrant that comes into the US, so that's been very helpful in actually creating. Thank you.
I'm Clara. And I'm Alex. Together, we founded Lucid Care, a behavioral health diagnostic and monitoring platform.
Mental health outcomes are awful. On average, 50% medication efficacy, and most patients are misdiagnosed anyway. It sucks.
Why does this happen? Fundamentally, mental health is unmeasurable. Care is a conversation between a patient and their clinician, and this means two things. The first is that clinical care is guesswork. The second is that the drug discovery process is extremely risky and unreliable. We're using the same medications as we have been using for decades. That is why we build the digital lab work for behavioral health. Think Quest, not Headspace.
With Lucid, doctors could order behavioral tests the same way they order blood tests for people with diabetes. And just imagine the world where we could actually preventively screen the patient population for suicidal risk before the worst happens.
We do this by building the most extensive patient-driven real-world database, gather data actively and also passively, and we tailor it. So 1, patients, it helps them get treatment that works. 2, for clinicians, they actually have a tool they can use to complement care. 3, for pharma, we de-risk the R&D process.
And in our presentation, there is no hypothetical Joe. And this is why I am a founder with lived experience. And as a patient, I had been misdiagnosed for almost a decade.
I met Alex days after she got the right diagnosis. I'm an MD, MBA, and I realized that there's a huge opportunity for a clinician and a patient to actually work together hand in hand to build something for clinicians and patients. Nick is our lovely tech lead who joined a few weeks later, and he is also a good friend of 19 years. In healthcare, oftentimes the people who use products are not the ones who pay. Patients and clinicians, freemium. But how do we make money? We target pharmaceutical companies. And we know we can do this because we've talked to the Pfizers, Takedas of the world. And one of them even said, if I, as a pharma company, could spend $1 to $2 million more per trial to be confident, why wouldn't I?
And if there are any angels in this audience, we are raising right now with already $65K committed for our bridge round. And our first investor was Pervis, and this means you would be jumping on the cap table with Mar Hershenson, number 26 in the Forbes Midas list. And if your wallet is not that deep, don't worry, just sign up to test our mobile app and elucidate your mental health with new insights.
Questions on data. Who owns the data and how do you protect the patients? Are you subject to HIPAA? Are you putting your license on the line?
Of course, data privacy for us is really a non-negotiable, especially as a clinician and as a patient. If our data got anywhere we didn't want it to go, that's it, you lose the trust. So when we think about data privacy, we really think about it in three ways. One, legally, working with our lawyers, get terms of service, get privacy policy, and make sure we're protected. But two, on the patient side, be extremely clear why we're using their data. If we want you to share your location, we'll tell you. We're worried about your loneliness and your social isolation, and that's why we want this, not just because we're gonna give it to someone else. And finally, also thinking about the technical side. There are things that we know we can do to be HIPAA compliant and to get that back. Things like two-factor authentication, encrypting the data, masking identifiers, and all of these are on our mind as we start actually thinking about the mobile app launch.
As we know, for all successful consumer apps, actually iteration is how you go. So we're planning for social features. Our target is to, with every user, bring 5 more users. So there will be options that we're right now testing, for example, to let your friends report for you when they see that someone is down, or perhaps just sharing insights with their doctors.
From a provider and pharma side, providers, making sure we're talking to psychiatrists, psychologists from the very beginning, because we've seen failures in the past where clinicians have felt really alienated, and we know that's not something that we want. And working with experts as well, consumer experts, so we actually have a go-to-market strategy that is scalable beyond Yale.
Thank you so much, Lucid Care. Matcha Scrubs, are you ready for your pitch?
Hello everyone, my name is Michaela Barker and I am the founder of Matcha Scrubs. So if you could humor me for a moment, could everyone please close their eyes? I want you all to imagine that you are a clinician. You've just gotten off of a 12-hour shift where you are literally saving lives. You go to take off your scrub cap, it's hot, you finally pull it off of your head and you realize that your hair is dry, it's brittle, and you have even more split ends than when you started the day. Is this really what you deserve after literally saving lives? Open your eyes. Introducing Matcha Scrubs. Matcha Scrubs is dedicated to revolutionizing healthcare attire and creating satin-lined scrub caps to make a more holistic, inclusive, comfortable, and fashionable experience for our healthcare providers. And the situation that I described to you is something that my very own mother, Dr. Elaine Laws Barker, went through every single day as an OBGYN. So this problem is very near and dear to my heart. Many scrub caps on the market are very uncomfortable, they're too small, they don't support your hair, especially if you have hair that is curly, long, you wear locks, braids, all sorts of things. And if you know anything about healthcare, you often have to wear eye shields while you're performing surgeries and other tasks, which can create a lot of tension on your ears while you are also wearing masks. And Matcha Scrubs solves that problem. But rather than just tell you about it, I'd like to show you the solution that we have, if my models could join me. So Matcha Scrubs has prototyped 3 different styles of satin-lined scrub caps that you can see here, the ponytail, the bouffant, and the cap. And as you can see on my model Frank, if you'll turn to the side, you can see the buttons that hold your mask to keep tension off of your ears, as well as our key differentiator, the glasses and eye shield holder that no scrub cap currently has. So this may seem like a very niche product, but the market is actually incredibly large. If we are only looking at healthcare providers of color, that market itself is $34 million in the US. If you look at healthcare providers from all backgrounds, that increases to $91 million, and then globally, we can tap into a market of $165 million. And so we are not just trying to solve this problem, but we are already on our way, as you can see here. Our next stage is to go into manufacturing and production before launching, and being in collaboration with local groups to have a soft launch. So please keep in touch and help Matcha Scrubs protect your hair while you provide care. Thank you. They will come in more colors, and actually, Toby, if you can stand up for me really quickly, I want to show you the inside lining of the satin cap. Can you lift? Thank you. If you can look at Toby, the inside is satin lined green because of Matcha Scrubs, and as you can see, Fits all of her beautiful box braids that she has in her hair, but they will come in more colors. Those are just the first 3 official prototypes. Yeah, absolutely. So currently the price for manufacturing, I have to get it solidified once I form an official partnership, but based off of the materials and the labor that went into creating these prototypes, it's between $7 and $8. My pricing strategy based off of the customer research and surveys that I did prior to launching showed that providers for a quality scrub cap would be willing to pay between about $17 and $20. Since this is meant to be a more premium and exclusive line with the satin lining and the eye shield differentiator, I want to price around $25. Yes, they are reusable, and the exterior is 100% breathable cotton so that they can be washed and sanitized.
People all over, beyond the medical field, will be interested in this.
Yes, absolutely, and that's something that I've actually discussed with my mother, and we know that a lot of healthcare providers will want to use this, but we could see this used in so many opportunities outside of this, even when it just, quite frankly, comes to sleeping, and women of color or women in general, and people in general, just wanting to protect their hair while they're working or going about their day-to-day. Yes, absolutely. Thank you all.
Wonderful, and wonderful questions from the audience. Thank you. So next is Opportunify. So if you're ready to pitch, please come up.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Jacopo.
My name is Reese.
And we are the co-founders of Opportunify, which is the one-stop solution for finding internships. There is a huge problem when you're a student, that is, you cannot find internships, or better, you don't find one-stop solution, one place where all internships are collected. You switch across websites, different platforms, but it's difficult to keep track of what you're doing and where you stand with your applications, and you miss out on opportunities simply because you didn't know. So what's the solution? And I apologize for the format, it's a bit informal. First of all, we built a platform which relies on web scrapers, therefore we can source opportunities worldwide, and we automated the process. Second, we are launching on an unexplored landing niche, meaning that compared to the traditional platforms, we focus on internships, whereas others focus on full-time jobs. And we also have a mentoring add-on to give not only the opportunities, but also the practical support. What is the business model? We target first universities. So we pitch to universities who buy the platform and give access to students with special features. We target companies who have the opportunity to pay and post jobs either to the old platform or to specific students. And finally, we also have a freemium version for students.
Thanks, Jacopo. And in terms of our progress so far, we've onboarded 2 universities, London Business School and also EADA. London Business School is on a £15,000 deal over the course of 3 years. They're also not only working with us, but they're actually working with us as build partners. And what this means is that they're actually helping us build the product and helping us with new feature suggestions and also just general advice on which banks to partner with and which consulting companies to partner with. In terms of the team, Jacopo and I met at HEC Paris, and we both have some corporate experience, but we're really driven by entrepreneurship, and therefore that's why we're pursuing the startup dream. And Z, who unfortunately can't be here today, is a brilliant developer based out of Pakistan. And in terms of the next steps, we're going to focus on London. We really want to aim to, we call it Operation Win London, to get both businesses and students on board in the London area. And then we want to continue onboarding paying businesses so that we can continue expanding the platform both on the university side and the job side. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions.
Are there any competitors in the space currently that you need to be concerned about or keep tabs on?
Job teaser. However, they are competitors in the sense that they focus on the job. They are a job platform, but they do specialize on full-time opportunities. So they are competitors, but we are trying to differentiate ourselves from them.
If it's an internet scraper of other people's internships, what makes it unique?
Is that we take jobs actually directly from the company's websites, whereas what happens for other platforms is that they require HR to post jobs. The day in which Bank of America publishes a job, it's automatically updated on our platform, and the day in which they take it off, it's off our platform. We're also building, but that's still one of the features we're working on, which is an automated web scrapers that not only is automating itself, but it's run by AI, so to scale the process.
So next on the roster is now called UniHealth. So UniHealth, please take it away.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Shakata Peño, and I'm going to start with the why. 10 years ago, I was volunteering at a crisis hotline, and crisis hotlines are places where you interact with all sorts of people, whether it's a single mother struggling with interpersonal violence or an elderly citizen that just wants to talk to somebody. And I'd taken thousands of those kind of calls, but there was nothing that prepared me for speaking with a first-year college student. She had an incredible story. She was the first in her family to go to college. Her mother had been incarcerated and was for life. Her father was terminally ill, but she got to college, and within the first few weeks, she got a UTI. A UTI for many women is very benign, but she got worried. She called her student health center and she couldn't get an appointment for 3 weeks. When she did get an appointment, she was misdiagnosed and shamed for being sexually active. That's unacceptable. What started as a physical health condition morphed into a mental health crisis, and she called the hotline on top of a bridge and asked me what she should do. That led me to go to medical school. But I got to med school and I realized that they teach you how to diagnose the flu and treat the flu, but they don't actually really teach you systemic problems. And that's why I came here to Yale to pursue an MBA. Right now, there's a huge pandemic going on college campuses in which people are unable to access care they need when they need it. And that's what we created this to do. This disproportionately affects low-income people of color and first-generation students. We created this platform in order to guide students, faculty, staff, anybody who's on a college campus to easily access healthcare resources both on campus as well as off campus. There's 3 features. There's a port, which is really an aggregator of all the resources. There's a passport, which is a personal health record. And then finally, there's something called Volta, which administrators use to gather analytics and customize the platform for their university. In terms of what it looks like, this is it for every university, whether you're at Yale or you're at the University of New Haven. You have different resources that are offered to you. So what we do is we enable universities to customize this for their targeted campus specifically. For administrators, they're able to gather real-time insights, analytics, they're able to send you push notifications, they're able to streamline and automate immunization compliance. That's a process that takes them about 6 weeks in the summer. We can now change that and turn it into 6 seconds in 1 day. And what we've seen with this is an increase in accessing care and significantly increased satisfaction and engagement. This January, we're launching at Ohio State, and then over the summer, we're starting at Emory, UCLA, and other universities around the country. And we have a multi-pronged strategy in terms of business. We interact with the Student Health Center, but then we also have features that individual market can access. And then since we've launched, we've been very fortunate. We raised a few million this summer. We've been partnered with GoodRx. We were selected as New York City's startup to watch, so we were able to have dinner with Mayor Adams on Thursday. And there's a lot happening, but I think for students, the future is bright in terms of healthcare. What's our ask? I think any business always wants more money, regardless how much money they have, but then also just connections to universities across the country, whether it's the University of New Haven or the UC system. One thing that the city of New York is helping us with is we're going to be offering this platform to the SUNY as well as the CUNY system, which is 500,000 students every single year. Those are the kind of partnerships that we're looking for, yes. The revenue model it's multi-pronged. So the platform we charge, I'm a student, I never pay for anything. So we charge, the university pays for this on behalf of their students. And on top of that, and post-pilot, we're charging anywhere from 30. So if you have a campus that has 16,000 students, that's $1.2 million. And then on top of that, we have marketing, in-app marketing services and things of that nature. And that's before we get to the analytics piece. For a marketer's dream is the 18 to 25 demographic, and that's exactly who we serve. So there's a lot of ways to generate revenue, and I think that's what the investors probably saw.
Would the universities be concerned by increasing accessibility? They also are increasing their own costs?
So what we realize is that a lot of the times, a lot of these universities already spend on these resources. There's a service called Timely Care that's available. One university that we're going to partner with, they pay, I believe it's $80 per student per year for Timely Care. Timely Care has a 12% utilization rate on that campus. So they're just giving money out to Timely Care. What we're able to do is to present it in a way where most of us are on our phones right now. We're able to present it in a way and prioritize it on your phone, send you a push notification saying, hey, use Timely Care, this and that. So they're already paying for a lot of these resources. All we're doing is bringing it to light.
So that's final questions. Thank you, audience members. Again, if I didn't get to your question, UniHealth will be around, so please visit them right at that table. Great job. Wonderful. Another round of applause. So welcome me up. Are you ready to pitch?
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Feli, and we're going to talk about financial literacy and investing. So first of all, is there anyone here who feels very confident with investing, who wakes up and is like, today I'm going to beat Wall Street? No worry, if not, this is why we have Wealth Me Up. So my journey with finances started well ago when I received a question from my colleague about how I'm going to invest my bonus money. I didn't know the answer. I have no idea where to look for. I looked at Robinhood, Betterment, the traditional banks, but everything felt very overwhelming and confusing. I thought that the problem was me. More than half Americans lack basic financial knowledge. If you look at Gen Z and millennials, around 60% invest. But if you look closer, the same population of female, Gen Z and millennials, less than 40% feel confident about investing, meaning that the gender gap persists even within our generation. And there is no wonder why. Finance is full of intimidation and complex jargon. We believe that this should not be the case, and we want to change the narrative and associate finance with independence and freedom. This is why we have created a platform that makes financial investing enjoyable and easy, especially targeting female professionals aged 22. Our mission is to change passive savers to investors. And this is how we do it. In the demo that you see here, we provide a platform that makes financial investing gamified and personalized. Something like Duolingo, but for finance. You set your targets, you track your milestones, but this is not all. You are part of a community of like-minded individuals ready to support you and to advise you in your journey. The aim is to start investing with a very small amount of money. I'm not alone in this journey. We have a fantastic team of people specialized in wealth management, finance, product development and engineering. And we are supported by an amazing team of mentors and advisors and consultants. First and foremost, our mission is unified and is one. We believe that financial empowerment is a right, not a privilege. So if you are on board of that, please sign up for early access to our beta version and follow up on social media. Thank you so much.
Any questions from the audience?
So our ideal customer base is women, young professionals 22 to 35, because this is the population, we are underserved by existing platforms. We are starting marketing campaigns through Instagram mainly, and then we are working now on our marketing models around like cross signups, etc. But if you have people that would use that, please, yes. You mean how we monetize? Yeah. So monetization is dual. On the one side, we have cross-selling, and then once we start the investing platform, it's going to be the usual business model through commissions with a very small commission fee.
Yeah, how does what you're doing give access to that community? You see how others are investing, share information. This sounds like a variation on that theme.
Exactly, but the big differentiation is that we are with a target audience, which is females, Gen Z, and millennials. We are underserved, and the way that these platforms, eToro, Robinhood, Betterment are using are just not for our size. We have seen that with specific population, community is even more important, and the way to empowering someone to invest is just different. So this is exactly what we are working to achieve, and so far we have been successful with the target audience.
Any final questions? Yes.
That's a great question. I would love to. So the differentiation from Elevest is that we think that they are targeting a different population, but of female investors. And we are trying now to capture millennials and Gen Z.
Excellent. Thank you. Another round of applause for Wealth Me Up. Great job.
Thank you so much.
We are quickly closing out the evening. This is going by so quickly. So may I have the next venture, which is Win Number.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Hobbs Morrison, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Win Number. I am currently a first year at the Yale School of Management. I also graduated from Yale College in 2014 and have spent the last 10 years working on Democratic campaigns. I want to start today by asking all of you in the audience a question. Thinking back over the last few years, raise your hand if you are contacted by a political campaign, and keep that hand raised if you feel like in that interaction, the campaign took the time to listen to you and understand the issues that mattered to you. Yes, a lot of hands go up and then go down. So here at Win Number, we are building a new kind of campaigning centered on persuasion. What you all experienced was the old way of campaigning, where candidates identify likely voters, choose their message, and then work to communicate that message to those voters. But we believe the future of campaigns is in persuasion. And when I say persuasion, what do I mean by that? We define persuasion as a two-way street between voters and candidates, where candidates are taking the time to reach out to and actually listen to the voters that they seek to represent, and then take that feedback and incorporate it into their messaging. And why that's so important, especially in today's divided political climate, is not just that it's a really effective way to run a campaign, but that it can also help to rebuild trust between politicians and the voters they seek to represent. But in order to build a campaign centered on persuasion, campaigns need effective tools. And the tech and data that campaigns have access to right now is built for the old way of campaigning. So here at Win Number, we are building a platform that will do three things. First, we'll help campaigns understand the voters in their district by providing data. Then we'll help them engage in those listening-focused conversations to understand what the voters in their district care about. And then we'll track key metrics to ensure campaigns are on the path to success. Campaigns are excited about what we're building. We started as a consulting service and have already brought in over $50,000 in revenue. And where we're going next is building on that existing client base to bring them our tech solution. So if you're a coder or if you're excited about bringing this idea to more campaigns next year, let's talk. Because campaigns that can effectively listen to and persuade voters are not only campaigns that can be successful, but campaigns that can help rebuild our democracy. Thank you.
Members, any questions from audience? Right there.
How are you going to measure or quantify their persuasive capabilities?
Excellent question. You should come find me after, and we'll have a more in-depth conversation, but the very high level. Yes, so we've developed a very sophisticated way to model districts and then also track campaigns' progress. So that's what we were doing with our consulting clients to ensure that they were meeting certain benchmarks that we set for them at the outset of the campaign. So that will tell us if what we model at the beginning actually matches their performance at the end.
Any additional questions? Yes.
I know that a lot of people's attention is typically on president.
Question. Yes, the MVP that we are building is specifically targeted to state and local campaigns, and we're really focusing on legislative campaigns next year.
Wonderful. I think we have time for a question or two more. Coordinators, do you have any questions that you want to add in?
Yeah, thank you so much for your pitch. My question to you is, how are you going to go about identifying potential customers? And does your target demographic or the districts that you've focused on currently have any key recurring characteristics or features?
Great question. Similar to the last question, our initial product is focused on state and local campaigns. In my last role, I fundraised for over 250 legislative campaigns across the country. So I'll be building off those relationships with our initial clients. This first version of the product is really geared toward campaigns that are running high volume voter contact operations. So seeking legislative campaigns in competitive districts that will be doing a lot of that outreach to voters. That's our initial market and the districts that we'll be looking at.
Excellent, wonderful. Another round of applause. Thank you. What a wonderful, very memorable. One more pitch to close out the evening before we move into Audience Choice Award. Yao Ming Right Brain, please come up and please start your pitch.
Awesome, thank you, Sade. Hi everyone, we are Xiaoming's Right Brain, a Chinese literature YouTube channel born from a depressed conversation sitting at the foot of this building. So I went to high school in Singapore, where my friend Rachel and I studied both English and Chinese literature. I loved my English literature classes. But in my Chinese literature class, all we did was remembering and regurgitating notes. Rachel and I thought Chinese literature could do so much better. We surveyed students, teachers, and submitted a petition to the Singapore Ministry of Education demanding a syllabus change. But after being invited into this building and talking to ministry officers, we realized that although the problem has been widely acknowledged, a top-down structural change is just not possible in the near future. Sitting out here, we then thought, what if we adopt a ground-up approach? What if we start bringing Chinese literature to students so that they can discover a fascinating text or a literature concept just on a subway ride? Now, I won't ask how many of you enjoy watching YouTube because I won't admit to binge watching an entire series of Crash Course literature over the summer or maybe cat videos, but that's precisely what we thought. We want to make the experience of learning Chinese literature just as fun and engaging and accessible as falling for your favorite YouTube video. So we got started. Up to now, we have created over 72 episodes with a total of 100,000 views across our 2 platforms. We have been invited to speak to over 2,000 faculties and students across Singapore, and our videos have been used in both Singapore and mainland Chinese classrooms. We started getting media attention from newspapers, podcasts, and just last year, we started developing this series of videos on Chinese poetic history, which is now part of the secondary school syllabus in Singapore. And of course, this series of projects was commissioned by no other than the Singapore Ministry of Education, back to where we began. So as we create content for Chinese literature students, we realize what we have created is also a perfect platform to expand access to Chinese cultural literacy education, so that we can start to foster a deeper sense of inter-community understanding. And this is why just 48 hours from now, we will be in Singapore Writers Festival, sharing our channel with a wide range of non-Chinese speaking audiences. This marks our channel's 5th year. To ensure that we can continue enhancing our impact in a sustainable way, we are actively expanding our monetization channels in Singapore, China, and the United States, primarily through funding from cultural and educational institutions. We and our dedicated production and content strategy team are really excited to work with you. So come talk to me or scan the QR code here to discover what we are actually about. In the long run, what we want to do is revolutionize not just the experience of learning Chinese literature, but we want to reactivate the entire rich reservoir of Chinese cultural knowledge. And you can help us break down that barrier one video at a time. Thank you.
I saw that advertising and sponsorships were part of your revenue model. Are there any ideas for licensing to other large networks or other media brands?
Licensing as in terms of partnership and collaboration? Yes, that is definitely one area we're going into.
Licensing as far as them giving you money for the content.
Can you clarify that question a little bit more?
Typically media companies might organize a licensing deal with content creators on a regular, annual, or whatever basis to have continuous content.
Yes, that is definitely one avenue we would really look forward to exploring, and we can talk more after this.
Any additional questions? Coordinators, do you have any more online submissions you'd like to?
All right, yeah, thank you so much. So what's the average cost of making a video? And what's your planned returns on that?
That is a great question. So it's divided into different stages. We have the scripting stage, editing, and the final production of that. Editing and production is actually in one whole stage. Right now, what we are doing is me as the chief scripter and my co-founder Rachel as the chief editor. And we have freelance script writers, editors, translators to help us with the entire process. And it's really, a lot of them come to us on an ad hoc basis. So we pay them an hourly rate. And one video in total, I would say, cost around 150 Singapore dollars, which is around 100 US dollars. And majority of that goes into the production, which is the technical, the editing side of things.
I think that's it for questions. Great job. Thank you. So that concludes the pitching portion of this evening. Accelerator teams, you did a phenomenal job. I have to say, as Associate Director of Student Programming, I am beyond happy and proud for the pitches. You truly did a tremendous job, and I see the growth of the pitches from beginning of the semester to now. So now we move into the audience choice portion of this evening. Please take the time to vote for the best pitch. I'm so glad that I'm not voting, because I would try to vote for all, because I think all of them are fabulous. But we will be voting for approximately 5 minutes, and as soon as we're done with the voting portion, I will be back online to announce the winner. So please take the time to vote. It is that time. It is Audience Choice Award. Can I have an imaginary drum roll, or a real one? So it was closed voting, really exciting voting, and we have 2 Audience Choice Awards. So the first Audience Choice goes to Guidely, and second, drum roll, goes to Matcha Scrubs. Congratulations. So with that being said, thank you again for joining us this evening. Congratulations again to all the ventures. You did a wonderful job. I am very proud. And congratulations and thank you to those that pitched.